Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be taking a little bit of a step back in time to about the 1970s when the old Penrose sausages used to be popular. I remember eating these when I was a kid and absolutely loving them. They're a small little smoky, briny, vinegary sausage that you got inside of little tiny jars. And we always had them as a special treat. So today I want to try and come up with a recipe that kind of mimics the flavor and the look of those old sausages. So the ingredients that we are going to need today are a half of a cup of water, 2 cups of white vinegar, 1 28-ounce package of Little Smokies, or in my case I have 2 14-ounce packages. For the spices we are going to need 1 tablespoon of salt, and for this you do not want to use iodized salt. You want either a canning, pickling salt or kosher salt. 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 tablespoon of minced dried onion, 1 tablespoon of red pepper flakes, a half of a teaspoon of white pepper, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. If you have dried, that works, or the fresh like I'm using works just as well. 1 healthy pinch of allspice, as well as a half of a tablespoon of red pepper powder. And I typically get my red pepper powder at the local Asian store. This is what I use when I make homemade kimchi. And if you're going to get it, you want the fine grind. You don't want the coarse grind on this. Alright guys, so all we need to do now is combine everything into our pan. And I'm just going to dump it all straight in. There's my vinegar, and there is my water, as well as all of my spices. And I'm just going to stir this, put it over on my stove, and let it come up to a boil for about 5 minutes. And I'm not going to show this part off because the vinegar fumes end up taking your breath away if you're not careful, and I really don't want to stand over the stove breathing in the vinegar fumes. So I'm going to have my vent running while this is boiling. But we are going to go ahead and start getting our little Smokies into our jar here. So if you give me 1 minute while I get this on the stove, we will get started with that. Alright guys, for our jar, you're going to want a sterilized quart-sized mason jar. There are several different ways that you can sterilize your jars. The way I've done it is I've put it over on my stove in a pot of boiling water and let it boil for 5 minutes. And then after you've done that, just empty it out, put it onto a towel to absorb the heat. You don't want to set it down on a cold counter. It'll crack your jar and they'll break. Another way you can do it is to run it through your dishwasher and then let it sit in there until you're ready for it. Or you can leave them after they've been washed thoroughly with soap and water. You can put them in a low temperature oven and let them sit in there for about 10 to 15 minutes or until you need them. Now all we need to do is get them into our jar, and I've gone ahead and sterilized my funnel at the same time as I did the jar. I just put it right down in the water and let it boil for 5 minutes as well. And I want to try to avoid touching the hot dogs, or the little Smokies I should say, and just get them in, but I don't want the juices that are in the package. So while I get these in here, I would like to remind you of the Gamers and Geeks playlist that JP and I have going on our channel, so if you would like to be a part of that. It's really easy. All you have to do is go out and make a cooking video and then post it to your channel. Once you've done that, let either JPIC or I know, either in the comment section of our latest cooking videos, or if you're part of our Discord server, you can let us know over there as well. And we will be more than happy to go over, check out your video, and get it added to the list. Alright guys, I've got all the hot dogs in, and our brine is done. I've went ahead and just set it on top of a bowl of ice just to do a little bit of a rapid chill down on it. It's still warm, but you can skip this step and just let it sit on your counter for a little bit, just until it's not quite boiling hot anymore. Even though we've let this chill down a little bit, some fat is still going to release from this because I do want to put this in while it's still a little bit warm, just to kind of help start that absorption of the spices and seasoning into our sausages. A little bit of fat will float to the top, and that's fine. Just skim it out and discard it when you open these up to enjoy them. So I do need a ladle. Alright guys, let's go ahead and start ladling this in. And all we're going to do is try and completely cover our little sausages here. And we probably will not need nearly all of this. But we will take quite a fair bit of it. Kind of have to wait and let that sink down in around the sausages. I'm going to use a chopstick to kind of go in around and kind of help encourage that brine to go down. You want to try and avoid anything metal in your mason jar. It could chip the inside of it and cause it to crack. Let's go ahead and get some more of our brine in. I'm going to repeat this process until the jar is full. And our brine is completely surrounding all of our little Smokies. Alright guys, I have got these completely filled with our brine. And I do have enough left over. I think I could probably have done a pint-sized jar of them as well. So maybe if I had gotten 3 packages of the little Smokies, we would have had a little bit more, but that's okay. All I'm going to do now is go in, wipe my rim down really well, make sure there's no food debris on it, and put my lid on. Alright, so I've got my lid tightened on, and I'm going to just give it a little shake, make sure the brine is still covering our little Smokies, and it is. So, alright, so guys, at this point, all I'm going to do is make sure this is completely cooled down to room temperature, and I'm going to put these in my refrigerator and let them set for 7 days before we come back in and see what they taste like. So I'm going to see you guys in about 7 days. Alright guys, it has been 7 days and our copycat version of the Penrose hot dogs are done. And let's go in here and give them a try, see what we think about them. Wow, these are so good. They are perfectly briny and spicy, just like I remember the Penrose sausages being. If you guys have liked this video, leave me a comment down below. If you guys tried this recipe out, let me know how it turns out for you. Remember to check out the Gamers and Geeks playlist as well as my other cooking playlists. I will leave links down in the description to them. But as always, thank you so very much for joining me today. I've been Vault Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.